It's clear as day to me that having looked at this transfer portal for women's basketball and having gone through it and really, I mean, I have done a lot of research when it comes to women's basketball here in terms of seeing what's going on in the portal. Like I've gone through, printed lots of stuff out, and I'm gonna do another video on this more specifically. But when I see rankings dropped on players, on the players who are in the transfer portal who have made their decisions, I kind of get a laugh out of some of the stuff that I see because what it shows me is that the people that are doing some of these lists don't really have any idea what they're talking about. And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to name a person. I don't need to do that. But I saw a ranking on one of the major uh, recruiting websites for college sports. I mean, you have the major ones. You got Rivals, you got On3, you got 24/7. Are there others? I have no. Those are the three that I know of. I used to write for 24/7 years ago. I started a website called InsideTheU.com that was under 247. But I gotta say, it came from one of these, and you can figure out on your own. But when you look at certain rankings, you it's kind of eye-opening because it just shows that there's a certain lack of knowledge, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about this right now. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. We talk facts or feelings here. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez-Shomont. It's been a long week. I've had a lot of work that I've been doing in combat sports this week. I've interviewed multiple fighters in BKFC. So if you're into combat sports, take a look at those videos. Those interviews are pretty dope. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, leave a comment, like the video, all that stuff. I appreciate all y'all continued support as we try to get to 10,000 subs by the first game of the women's basketball season. So I'm looking at a ranking right now that is in this order: Tanaya Latson, Olivia Miles, Gianna Neepkins, Sarah Williams, Tony Morgan, Talia Scott, Cody McMahon, Cara Dunn, Gal Raviv, Malaysia Fulwiley. That is the top 10 in this particular ranking list. Then if you go into the next 15, it's a top 25. Avery Howe, Yarden Garzon, Bria Cunningham, Latasha Lattimore, Oluchi Okananwa, Gracie Merkel, Tamia Scott, Jalen Brown, Ashley Sophil Kanich, Rashila Kyle, Jada Williams, Ty Skinner, Kiyomi McMiller, Laura Ziegler, Janiyah Barker. It's one of those lists that when you hear it at first glance, if you don't have any idea, yeah, okay, it's a list. But I will tell you this, when you look at a list like this and it leaves out certain players, all I can do is laugh a little bit because I don't know how this particular person can drop a rankings list and ignore. I can only hope that the guy forgot. I can only hope that he forgot. And I say that because I can only hope that he forgot simply for the reason that there's so much going on and maybe you forget. But when I look at her earlier list from 2 weeks earlier, I don't see that player here either. And I'm a little bit floored by it. And it's not a huge deal, but it shows me that people that are supposed to know this shit don't actually know this shit. Like, you're supposed to know this better than me. This is what you do, right? You're a recruiting person, right? I'm just looking at this list across the board. I mean, I'll give you an example. Tony Morgan's ranked 5th. She went to Georgia Tech. And what was their record? She averaged just under 14 points per game last year. They got to the first round of the tournament, and they got beat by 25. They went 22-11. Okay, that's one. She's a good player. I'm going to go through them individually. But the player I'm talking about specifically is Kayleigh Heckel. I don't understand how the hell a player that was ranked in the top 20 nationally, a 5-star recruit who played 20 minutes a game on a beast-like USC team, yet you have her teammate Avery Howell at 11, and you don't have Heckel anywhere on this list. I gotta think you just forgot her. I mean, I'm trying to give benefits of the doubt with stuff like this, but to forget a player or leave a player out, maybe this is what this guy thinks. Maybe it's what he thinks. Janiah Barker at 25? No way. Did you watch Janiah Barker play last year? Come on. It's a little bit off to me. It really is. You know, we're throwing in players that went to St. Joseph's. I mean, Keomi McMiller. She went to Rutgers. The team was atrocious. She's like the black hole for the ball. The ball goes to her. It never comes back from her. She wanted to go play for a winner, and she goes and plays for the worst team there is in the Big Ten, or one of them, in Penn State. Not an easy player to deal with. She's only ranked 23rd. Probably because of that, but I'm just a little bit surprised. I gotta say, I'm actually really surprised. And I'm not saying these players aren't bad, but let's say, for example, this girl, Ty Skinner, she's 5'5". She averaged 17 a game last year at Arizona State. She's going into her 5th year. How is this player ranked ahead of a player who's going into their sophomore year? Part of a ranking needs to be based on actually having the player for more than 12 seconds, right? That's the way I view it. I mean, she's going to, right here is still blank on this particular ranking. She went to Delaware, Arizona State, and now this is her 3rd school. Okay. She's 5'5", man. I know people don't like to hear about that, the height thing, but she shoots under 40%. Like, she's, again, team. What was the team? What was the team like? They were 10-22. How is the best player on a bad team considered a top shelf transfer? You're a great player on a bad team. That means, are you really that great, or are you just the best player on a bad team? So you might be a great player, but are you the best player on a bad team, or are you actually really that great? And I'm just looking at number of these players, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how in the hell, what? Here we go, another one. Jada Williams, 5'6", 12.7 points per game. She's going into her 3rd year. She shot 37% from the field and 29% from 3. Ranked 21st. I know who Rashala Kyle is. She's a big. I'm not going to argue that one too much. Not really much to argue because, but again, you got 1 year with her, and after that, it's like it's a 1 year fix. That's part of this transfer issue. I guess I don't look at transfers the same way someone else might, just say, oh, well, this is what they did. Well, no, that might be, but they got 1 year left, so they're in and out. It's and is that the goal? Ashley Sofel-Canish averaged 20 points a game last year at Bucknell. She's 6'3". She's going to Michigan. Michigan's gotten some players. I mean, I gotta say that. So that's obviously. I'm just looking for. That's a good pickup for them. But I'm looking at from a perspective of, what are we doing? How are you coming up with this ranking? How was a player that's ranked in the top 16 last year? What was the ranking exactly? Top 100, 2024. The top 100. Heckel was ranked 13th. Avery Howell was 16th. How the hell did Avery Howell become a better prospect than Kayleigh Heckel? I mean, they basically did the same thing. I'm just being real. They were very, very similar in production. They were very similar. I mean, Hal's bigger. She averaged 7.5 points, 3 rebounds, shot 43%, 39.9 from three. Let me see what Heckel's numbers are. I know she averaged about 6. They both played about 19, 20, 21 minutes per game. Let's see here. Remember, they played different positions on top of that. Heckel averaged 6.1, 1.4 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 46% from the field. Not a great three-point shooter, 28% from three. So again, you got two players that are playing different positions. One's a point, one's a two or a three. So again, you had them ranked a certain way last year, and now this year, all of a sudden, they're not the same. They're not close to the same. The numbers of two players are basically are very, very similar. Like Yarden Garzon, she's 12th. I think she should be way higher on this list. Like way higher. I've been watching Yarden Garzon for a couple of seasons now. Like she's legit good. She's a change. She can be a game changer for a team. 6 foot, what 6? She's like 6'3", good shooter. I mean, she's a taller version of what people love about what's her face, Sonia Citron. She shoots 41% from three, 14 points per game, 6'3". Again, she's on her final year, I guess. But you had no problem putting other players in their final years on this list. I mean, you look at let's say, for example, this one right here. Cody McMahon's ranked 7th. She's played 3 years of college basketball. She averaged 16.5. 44.5%. Her shooting percentage has gone down each of her seasons in women's basketball. It went up this year in 3. And I'm not saying that Heckel should be up there. I'm not at all. Kara Dunn, she averaged like 15 a game for Georgia Tech this past season. So you got two players from Georgia Tech that are in the top 10. And the team was 22-11. And Dunn's good, man. I'm not saying she's not. I'm not saying she's not good, but it's an interesting ranking when you see a player that was so highly ranked come out of high school just a year ago who didn't play poorly. And I mean, Gal Raviv, she went to Quinnipiac. She averaged 18 a game last year. She shot 45% from the field, 31% from three. She's 5'9". She went to Quinnipiac. I mean, that's beautiful. 18 points, and she's ranked 9th. She went from Quinnipiac to Miami. I mean, Malaysia Fulwiley's ranked 10th. But for as much as people rave about her, I would tell you this. I think Sarah Williams is the bigger prospect, the bigger get than Olivia Miles. If you really want to look at it a little bit more deeply, I think Gianna Neepkins is probably a bigger pickup than Olivia Miles. Again, I'm going to keep it a buck. Olivia Miles is a good player. She was not the best player on her team last year. Like, we're doing this all over again. She was not the best player on her team last year. And then, looking at other players here, I mean, I'm just going through the numbers because that's what I'm going to go off of. But I also think that someone should actually have the foresight to look like, okay, Bria Cunningham is a 6'4" girl out of Arizona. She had 11 points per game last year. Okay. She's number 13. Latasha Lattimore was going from Virginia to Ole Miss again in her final. I think she's in her final year. Tamia Scott, she's not listed as going anywhere yet. She averaged 17 and 6.5 at Middle Tennessee State or Middle Tennessee. So going into, yeah. It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I don't know how you could drop like that, but I'm gonna attribute it to maybe this guy forgot that she was there. because I don't see how you have two players that were one was ranked three spots ahead of them last year. Very, very similar in production this year on a great team, both largely coming off of the bench. Um, both largely coming off the bench, both playing between 17 and 21 minutes. Yeah, it's a little bit odd to me to not see her listed on this ranking. So I don't know. You let me know your thoughts. Because I mean, the first comment that I see, literally the first comment on this list, when I tell you, I'm not even kidding, man. The first comment that you see here is, "Where's Kayleigh Heckel?" I'm like, bro, yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I'm legit wondering the same thing. That was the first comment on this post. And again, I'm not going to show you the post because I'm not trying to call this individual out. It's not needed. But yeah. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. This is Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way, Women's Basketball. Come on now.